同学年ですね。しかも誕生日大変近いですね。なんかこの辺りね、さっきお話ししたスティービー・ワンダーは1950年生まれ、そしてエルサ・パンドスとフィリップ・ベリーは1951年生まれ。なんかこれについて昨日聞いたコメントしたいんですけれども、はい。
水生動物嘅生產活動下，係水產業咧最主要嘅組成部分。咁通常嚟講咧，大家嚟講捕魚嘅方式有係3種啦，頭先你講係網撈啦，仲有係即係吊鈎嘅吊去啦嚇，然後咧就包括去水去啲手用徒手去執先。
冇錯啊，其實嗰度仲有好多種嘅一啲捕魚嘅方法嘅。咁當然啦。
身边感动，欢迎您随时拨打中国之声新闻热线
大家好，我是张国立。保障家人饮水安全，我推荐一款可以免费试用的净水机——沃克新一代智能净水机，产品全面开放，4.0加强版 RO 反渗透过滤系统，抽水更快，达到1/1000微米。打开了之后就可以放心直接饮用。重要的是，全部安装师傅给您免费安到家，试用15天，过滤后的水您直接喝，或者做饭、泡茶。如果觉得用不上，一个电话直接拆走。免费试用电话：400-616-8899，400-616-8899。试用15天以后，如果马上想留下来，为了保障售后，1个月一付款，每个月199元，13个月付清。想试用的朋友，
我们在整个过去的3年中，我们也开展了一些，比如说像这种数字拓展的活动，来加深互相的一个认识和这个熟悉。除了工作之外，然后我们也开展了这个，比如说语言的一些互相的学习，中文、法文，或者中文、西班牙语，互相的一些学习。当然的话，作为这个中方的这个代表啊，因为我们在部门中中方的代表，我们重要的任务也是传递这个中国的文化，所以呢，我也会，包括我们中方的同事啊，也会向我们的外籍员工也会经常分享一些这种中国的传统文化，比如说我们讲一些这种成语的故事，还有这个故事的来由，这样的话让这个外籍员工啊能够感受到我们整个中华文化的一个博大精深吧。短短的4个字就能蕴含这个一个很精彩的一个故事，所以这也是非常吸引他们的一个地方。然后我们也举办了一些像这种全球的安全工作坊。
Examining the events that impact and shape China and the rest of the world. This is the Beijing Hour, 1 hour of news and information brought to you every weekday. Now here's your host.
Shane Bigham with you on this Monday morning. Still to come, in business, a nationwide campaign to promote spending in China. In sports, football scores and highlights. In culture and entertainment, the Gallery Weekend Beijing 2021 Expo. There are several ways to contact us. You can talk to us on Twitter at the Beijing Hour or visit the Beijing Hour page on Facebook for more news, videos, and analysis. Now today's headlines. Passenger trips on Chinese railways hit a new single-day high on Saturday as the May Day holiday period kicked off. Official data shows nearly 19 million passenger trips were made on Saturday, the first day of the 5-day holiday. Marks an increase of 9.2% from the 2019 level. The China State Railway Group says around 14 million railway passenger trips were made on Sunday. May Day, also known as International Workers' Day, is observed on May 1st in China. The holiday lasts from May 1st to the 5th this year, and many people choose to travel during this holiday period. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has held a virtual meeting with experts to explore ways of ramping up oxygen supply in the country. Medical oxygen is in demand in Indian hospitals as they battle with a spike in COVID-19 cases, with more than 392,000 new cases recorded on Sunday alone. The Prime Minister's office says the government is converting existing nitrogen plants to produce oxygen to meet demand. Officials say 14 industries have begun the conversion process, and another 37 nitrogen plants have been identified for oxygen production. Meantime, the state of Haryana, a virus hotspot, has begun a week-long lockdown to curb the spread of the virus. Its neighboring state of Delhi is already under an extended 7-day lockdown, which will last until May 10th. So far, more than 19.5 million people have been infected with the virus, and over 215,000 people have died in India. افغانستان د امریکایي ځواکونو د ایستلو په اړه د خپلې پرېکړې دفاع وکړه. د افغانستان د نړیوالو شریکانو ملاتړ ډلې یو ځل بیا د افغان خبریالانو او رسنیو د ملاتړ ژمنه وکړه. د بریتانیا د بهرنیو چارو وزیر وایي هېواد به د روسیې د تبلیغاتو او ناسمو اطلاعاتو د خپرولو د مخنیوي لپاره د نړیوالو هڅو غوښتنه وکړي. بشپړ خبرونه. د امریکا د متحدو ایالاتونو ولسمشر جو بایدن له افغانستان د امریکایي ځواکونو د ایستلو په اړه د خپلې پرېکړې دفاع وکړه. بایدن دغه څرګندونې د القاعده شبکې د مشر اسامه بن لادن د وژل کېدو د 10 کال د پوره کېدو په مناسبت وکړې. په هغه اعلامیه کې چې سپینې ماڼۍ پرون خپره کړې ولسمشر
reevaluate, and I think that we've gone through that reevaluation, and now it's the time to come up with concrete actions to reconcile. So I hope that our Triarca continues to work toward that reconciliation, bring the Pacific family together. So we just appreciate our efforts that have been made.
Yes, in the midst of all this, earlier on, you had said that it would take significant reforms or a reversal of the decision to go with the Cook Islands in order for something to change on the Micronesian leaders front. Is that the same stance?
Yeah, I think we're pretty much still on the same line. We expect that I don't think any of us are coming back to the farm unless we see change. So we've made that position clear, and that's I think continues to be our position, and I think the Triarch understands that. So we've officially withdrawn, and I would assume that nobody's coming back until change happens. So.
I also noted, I thought it was interesting that most of the people who were apologetic and reaching out were people who had voted with Micronesia and who were sort of in your same lane in terms of the gentleman's agreement and the need for...
From the late people there, I could make out a fair few words actually, so the band did a little bit of skip, and I could hear Steve too, VCO, was readable. But yeah, like suffering from the fireworks going off down the south there too, or the storm activity, I suppose you could say. A little bit of static crashes there, but you're well and truly above that, mate. So that's good. But we had a good time at Fairview there. I think everyone did actually. So that was really good. Anyway, looking forward to work tomorrow, of course, mate. We'll be that's the next thing on the agenda, mate. Anyway, just thought I'd pop back in. I've been listening for a little while, and I was talking to Ian and Mick there this afternoon from the lake. Oh, it must be an hour and a half ago or something. And before they went to their showers there, not sure what they did, but when they had the shower there, they washed all the propagation off themselves, Ray over. Yeah, for sure, Ray. No, it was a great time actually. It was really good. It goes so quick though. That's the problem. You know, we've had 2 long weekends in a row here now, and the last one we spent over on the island, the second 2 days out of the 3 over there, they just flew past, of course. But anyway, we only got a 4-day week this week. Ray, you nearly called me a council worker this week, mate, haven't you? Yeah, for sure, Ray. No, anyway, the weather down here is pretty good, mate. It was quite cool at Fairview, actually, in the night time. After about 7 o'clock, had to put a jacket on there, or a jumper, and a little bit of breeze coming off the ocean, I suppose. It's that time of year, it should be cooling down a little bit too. But it's quite tropical here today at home in Boulder Cove, right? Yeah, there's got the sun there, we had to dodge that one for sure, patio. But anyway, all good. Anyway, good to catch up with you, mate. Good to work in Fairview too. You're doing for there as well. So, no, that's good. Anyway, we'll have to catch up one day too, Ray. I don't know where we'll meet up next time, mate, but we'll have to do it again, mate, haven't we? Yeah, good day, Ray. No worries at all, mate. Sounds like you're keeping active there in your retirement anyway, mate. That's what it's all about too, isn't it? And good on the gig there, yeah, okay. You might just have to move your cannon stand a day forward or something, give you that bit of a spell in between, mate, so you can have a night at home before you a decent rest before you go further north to the gig there, that's for sure. But anyway, keep you active, mate, anyway, that's the main thing there. And yeah, Cannon Sands is a nice spot too, I think, isn't it? They're very nice down there. And especially this time of year. be still quite warm, so that's good. Anyway, mate, I might leave you with it. I'll go on the side here. We've got tea on the table shortly, and I'll go get my boots out, Ray, and give them a polish for tomorrow, mate. All right. Good to hear you, mate. 5, 9 plus. And as per usual here too, Ray, you always a good signal here. One of the stronger stations, even when I can't hear Tony and stuff like that. You're far enough away that you still get through there. 7-3, mate, VK4NET. Enjoy the evening, VK4LO, over. Cheers, Ray, 7-3, and 7-3 to the blokes at the lake if they can hear us there. I don't think they will be at the moment. We'll catch them on 80 during the week, I suppose. Or maybe tomorrow after. Cheers, Ray, VK4LO.
Related, but those that have been affected, especially with some the level of income that's been the revenue of businesses that's been affected. So we've formulated certain criteria that will allow for the eligibility of those businesses to receive assistance from the government. But I must also reiterate that there's a lot of help that the government has already been giving out, and perhaps it's not publicized enough.
Minister of Finance Johnny Konapo in court. Supreme Court Judge Dudley Aru has dismissed 4 counts of assault acting in a disorderly manner in public and 2 counts related to the leadership code against former Chairman of Public Service Commission Martin Mai. During the court session, Judge Aru has said that Mr. Mai, you are free man, said the prosecution didn't prove beyond reasonable doubt to convince the court to uphold the charges against Mr. Mai. Mai confirmed outside the court that he will claim compensation for unjustified termination, breach of contract and damage to his reputation. Mai was appointed on the 4th of April 2020 and was terminated by the President of the Republic of Vanuatu in May on the request of Prime Minister Bob Loveman. Under the Salaries Act of the Public Service, a chairman's annual salary is 9 million Vatu. The court heard during the proceeding that...
温馨提醒：高档装修就选这一条质感系瓷砖。5一期间买金钻大理石赢真钻石，金一陶瓷砖有质感更高端。隔音门窗当然选黄派，黄派门窗高端隔音门窗。
大家好，我是邓伦，我选索菲亚。40年专注柜类定制，专业定制柜就是索菲亚。
大家好，我是张国立。保障家人饮水安全，我推荐一款可以免费试用的净水机——沃克新一代智能净水机，产品全面升级，4.0加强版 RO 反渗透过滤系统，出水更快，过滤精度达到1/1000微米，打开龙头就可以放心直接饮用。重要的是1分钱不花，安装师傅给您免费安到家。试用15天，过滤后的水您直接喝，或者做饭、泡茶。如果觉得用不上，一个电话直接拆走。免费试用电话：400-616-8899，400-616-8899。试用15天以后，如果满意想留下来，为了保障售后，1个月一付款，每个月199元，13个月付清。想试用的朋友，
每一片雪花都包含对胜利的期许，
每一次更高、更快、更强的追求，都彰显对体育的热爱和敬意。
我们 以冰雪为赛场，续写人类的坚强和执着。
我们在洁白的世界绽放生命的乐观和骄傲。
北京2022年冬奥会和冬残奥会，飞扬的冰雪，激情的约会，让世界的各个角落共同凝视圣火点燃的那一刻。
See you in Beijing in 2022. 2022 Beijing 见。
北京时间16点整。
报时中国经济，我是新东方俞敏洪。那些面对苦难、挫折，持有乐观心态，爬起来的速度比摔倒的速度要快的人，是逆商最高的人。即使在黑暗中也不绝望，因为他们在黑暗中能看到满天的繁星。
报时中国经济。清洁供暖就选太阳雨太阳能加空气能太阳雨。中央人民广播电台经济之声。
梦想中的家，有爱，有蓝天大海，还有自然的空气。嘉宝莉艺术涂料，把大自然艺术搬进家，把环保与爱带回家。嘉宝莉让家更美丽。你喜欢的主播，你喜欢的栏目，你喜欢的速播大会。
欢迎各位收听经济之声视听融合节目视听大会，我是主持人李成。本期视听大会您将听到经济之声专栏高丽的咖啡屋假期展播第1集，且听财经学者吴伯凡如何自知自处。
حکومت د رسنیو د مرکز رئیس ښاغلی دواخان مینهپال له آزادو رسنیو د ملاتړ بنسټ نئ مشر ښاغلی مجیب خلوتګر او د وی او ای آشنا راډیو تلویزیون خبریال رحیم ګل څاروان درنو مېلمنو ښه راغلاست. خلوتګر صاحب په سر کې که تاسو راته ووایئ
The day rally is calling for improved working conditions. Personal from the Queensland Nurses and Midwives Union is calling for better PPE, saying everyone deserves to feel safe at work.
Through appropriate workloads and appropriate personal protective equipment. It's also about having our work values. Because after all...
Number. A lot of response as well in regards to our tango feature. Apparently there's a great tango, there's a lot of tango dancers in Nelson. Who knew? I like this. Now, soon Corey Hawkins is here with a look at the main stories through the day, through the Pacific lens at the Pacific waves. The big story, of course, of today is the opening of the Cook Island travel bubble. So he'll have the latest reaction on that. But first, I wanted to play you something special. In Aotearoa, each May, we celebrate New Zealand Music Month. And this year's theme for New Zealand Music Month is Access All Out.与深究这段感情的时候，就会想起庾澄庆唱的这首《情非得已》。
招小兵介绍，白天的欢乐谷让大伙儿惊心动魄，让冰冷的游乐设施和建筑在光影的衬托下发挥了它的内涵。
作为北京旅游的一张金名片，八达岭长城也提前准备，通过延时开放时间、增加夜长城项目来应对大客流的考验。八达岭长城景区宣传营销中心主任陆秀娟说：“
长城景区调整开放氛围，在南7楼至北8楼开放基础上，增开北8楼至北12楼段落。同时，景区开放所有下沉通道，实现城上城下单向循环。八达岭夜长城4月30日至5月4日开放。”
开放范围为北1楼至北4楼。
除了北京本地旅游之外，国内游客市场也非常火热。5一期间，全国总体天气适宜出游，赏花仍是重要的主题。新闻网徐振言介绍：
四川西昌南银花、云南鹤庆杜鹃花、云南腾冲鸢尾花、广州荷花，从来不到动物。
د صحت د چارو پوهان دا خبره په داسې وخت کې کوي چې د خبر پښتونخوا حکومت په ځینو ځایونو کې د ماښام د 6 بجو نه د دکانونو بند کېدو ویلي دي. په پېښور کې خبریال عمر فاروق چې اکثره د صحت په موضوعاتو خبرونه جوړوي وایي د حکومت د بازارونو چوکاټو لپاره د تړلو پرېکړه په کرونا وایرس کې کمې راوستې شي خو هغه په مکمله توګه نشي ختمولی. نوموړي زیاته کړه د څو ساعتونو لپاره د بازارونو تړل کېدو له وجې د ورځې ګڼه ګوڼه زیاته وي نو دې حالاتو او د اختر سوداګانو ته په کتو باید حکومت خاص ټولبند اعلان کړي.
وایرس په یو ګنټه چې دته مکمل راویږي کنه دا خپل کار کوي. تاسو بازارونه څلور ګنټو پورې او یا درې ګنټو پورې او یو انفیکټډ سره راغی هغه بازار کې وګرځیدو نو هغه بیان کړل چې 70 یا 15 تنه مخامخ کوي. د حکومت د خوا مختلف ستراتیژي راځي خو دې وایرس انفیکشن باندې په یو صورت باندې راځي چې دا بازارونه دا په مکمله توګه کم از کم 10 ورځې لپاره شي.
عمر فاروق دا هم وایي چې د 6 بجو نه وروسته ځینې دوکانونه خلاص وي او خلک په حکومتي لارښوونو سم عمل نه کوي. بلخوا د خبر پښتونخوا انتظامیې ویلي چې په SOPs یا حکومتي لارښوونې د عمل نه کوونکو خلاف کارروایانې کوي. د صحت د چارو پوهان وایي که د پاکستان حکومت د متحده عربي اماراتو په څېر ماسکونه اچول لازمي کړي او د اروپا او ځینو نورو هېوادونو په څېر یوازې د اړینو سامانونو دوکانونه خلاص وساتي نو کرونا وبا تر ډېره کمه کېدای شي. خو په خبر پښتونخوا کې سوداګر او دوکانداران بیا د ټولو دوکانونو د تړل کېدو په حق کې نه دي. هغې وایي له دې سره مالي ستونزې لا نورې سیوا کېږي. په خبر پښتونخوا کې د مرکزي تنظیم تاجران مشر مهر الهي وایي چې د ټولبند په اړه د حکومت د بېلابېلو بیانونو او سمې پرېکړې نه کولو له وجې اکثرو سوداګرو مالونه اخیستي او که دوکانونه بند شول نو ټول مالونه به خراب شي. هغه زیاتوي باید حکومت د ټولبند په اړه یو اعلان وکړي او
彼得定律啊，什么什么，其中有一个叫帕森斯定律啊，什么意思呢？就是说，一个项目要多少钱，答案取决于你给他多少钱。一个做这件事情需要多少时间，答案取决于你给他多少时间。我原来在这个做主编的时候，观察这个东西很细啊，我就发现一些记者，你给他这个稿子，你给他1个星期的时间，给他半个月的时间，给他1个月的时间，他最后基本上就是最后呢节点。我说你今天晚上你就是上吊，你先把稿子写出来再上吊。他的阳明心学就是如何治理、如何管理自己的心嘛，就各种脏。
د حکومت له لوري دا خو طبیعي ده چې د بیان ازادي د دوی په هغه لاسته راوړنو په لومړۍ کچه کې ده خو تاسې اطلاع ته لاسرسی وګورئ ټول اطلاع د حکومت د اطلاعاتو د لاسرسي برخه تر ویاندوانو پورې محدوده شوه.
$1.4 million US assistance for COVID relief and humanitarian supplies. We're hoping that this will help Timor-Leste state and
會雲南德宏傣族景颇族自治州地處雲南省西部，同緬甸接壤，境內國境線長達503.8公里，係雲南省知名嘅僑鄉。根據不完全統計，全州有海外僑胞約9萬餘人，主要分佈喺25個國家同地區，歸僑僑眷8萬餘人。作為德宏州州府嘅芒市，轄區內有歸僑僑眷1萬0。
頑張ってるよね、侍君もね。本当ですよね。これ同年代だから。同年代だから。
卓越品质和创。
宣查嘅製作。
叫做個嫌死，老母咪不聽旨，愛做囝兒嘅當然會驚半死。好啦，這是少年郎家己咧創家己。如果我今年真唔去，也係乜嘅事？將四線白點嘅衣卡，也看你嘅網絡線啊，要講什麼？保險講吳志文高明無比，一個斷掉眉目停止，這少年郎驚這幾個人所拖大招。嘿，人嘅心意就是心意，是啊，你也是真心真意，請伊甲放開。
Hungry yet? Get into Bite Me Cafe on Edith Street for great food, large portions and plenty of meal options to choose from. Open Monday and Wednesdays till 5, Tuesdays till 3 and Thursdays and Fridays open till 7. Bite Me Cafe, Edith Street, Innisfail. Phone orders welcome. 40611 117. Bite Me.
Absolute Electrical Cardwell are celebrating their 3rd birthday at Jakarta. Inilah bangunan karya manusia terpanjang di dunia dan telah menjadi simbol negeri tirai bambu. Anda juga bisa mengunjungi Masjid Muji yang merupakan salah satu masjid tertua di Tiongkok. Masjid ini merupakan pusat komunitas Muslim di Beijing.
你就是爬去亚马山，嘴嘛吃完就皮仔会卡，我比你快。好，哎呦，连家都夹袂着皮仔。出路，下面凹蛋，呀地卡，呀甲口痰，呀第二家，也无话可能，先做一卡个应该严办来，我就去当他40抓班啊！我人家皮仔，我就想做的。大灯烧完咯，灯烧刷一号。哎呦，这真正是世界大稀罕，有一个糊涂哥，带一个糊涂汉。大家也看清楚，随时去等这个狐狸回本。哦，这糊涂哥个家伙，念功夫那个有音乐的现场什么搞啦？有这教育成绩，是因为老文化关系。用2000英文买来啊，当然就是因为人际关系。这个怪歌是统计关系买来的，难怪啊，伊个白人讲得这么细。再来讲，怪歌是真正后头，这个回头到现在。这家的好多新闻，这个怪了呀，怎么的加滚灯？而且，将你的腮骨都俩特灯。应该就中心新闻头一晚报告中国人为公道对，这个怪歌只要新叫加分收凌晨，根本就为了新闻社公等。那安尼都唔免新闻，上完就学来刀呵呵，善良的传来先卡中，卡的一幕不怕粉。这下面高大技能，用手势指挥平安，再唔捌新闻，哇！大波人都真有本事，会向你手指挥着。大家也精神万变，我的腮骨为了好气气，将动物随时都混了去，你这个腮骨真改变，看我你那何必也个打破黑色气。哎呀，这拢问了啦，那皮啊是爱几家，不是大家家。反正为了皮啊的卡，要按怎爱几家。
Luna Drive-In Theatre opened in Melbourne on this day in 1956. It closed down in 1984 and then reopened in September 2002. And it's good to see there's still a few drive-in theatres around, including the one at Mareeba. Darling Harbour redevelopment in Sydney was officially opened by Queen Elizabeth on this day in 1988. Colonel Oliver North was convicted of 3 charges and had 9 others dismissed in the US District Court regarding his action in supplying arms to the Contras from money made by selling arms to Iran. That happened back on this day in 1989. James Packer and David Gingell were involved in a street brawl on Bondi Beach footpath on this day in 2014. Gingell was best man at Packer's wedding. He says he was the instigator of the incident. Anyway, good mates often have a punch-up every now and again. Whether you're at home or on the highway, thanks for tuning my way. Al Curtin inviting you back same time tomorrow, and we'll do it again. Have a lovely night and leave it right here on 4KZ.
Reagan's mission about Titan, especially at this time of Titan's year, will be to be concentrated at Titan's South Pole, and we'll be exploring the equatorial region. So we don't expect rain, but of course the weather doesn't always follow what one predicts. And we do have to be prepared for the possibility of rain, and so we're making sure that the exterior of the vehicle is safe if it rains. We wouldn't fly, though, if it were raining on Titan. We do a pre-flight weather check, just like we do here on Earth, and we would wave off flight if it seemed like it might rain that day on Titan.
Dragonfly won't have the kinds of detailed maps that they have of Mars, simply because you can't map it to the same resolution, I presume, through the clouds of Titan. So with Titan's sort of, again, its own self-control mechanisms must be pretty smart in that sense.
Yes, so we'll do terrain relative navigation and build up maps as we go along with Dragonfly. We have, of course, maps of the surface from the Cassini orbiter that did 126 flybys of Titan and built up global maps of Titan, and we have good data of the area. But we don't have the same infrastructure at Titan that we do at Mars, where there have been multiple orbiters for decades taking data and mapping the surface in great detail. Nor do we have a set of relay stations, so all of the communications from Dragonfly to Earth are direct from the surface of Titan to the DSN here on Earth, as opposed to going through a relay. So there are certainly some operational differences that we will be contending with at Titan.
I mean, we've seen those delays between the actual flights of Ingenuity and the first pictures coming down from each one. I guess it's going to be even more nerve-wracking for you in that sense.
Yes, the light time from Titan will definitely be nerve-wracking.
The data Dragonfly sends back will be amazing. I don't want to wait. Thanks to Zibby Turtle at Johns Hopkins University for taking time out of the busy development schedule to tell us about the mission. How our ambitions have grown since the late Michael Collins piloted Apollo 11 to the moon 50-plus years ago. I thought we'd close with another clip from the series 13 Minutes to the Moon, where presenter Kevin Fong highlighted Collins's commitment to the collective mission that was the first moon landing.
With Eagle on its way to the lunar surface, Collins was by himself. Interviewers often fall into the trap of asking him about this and their imagined sense of his cosmic isolation. In carrying the fire, Michael Collins is clear. He was indeed alone, but never lonely. I don't mean to deny any feeling of solitude. It is there, reinforced by the fact that radio contact abruptly cuts off at the instant I disappear behind the moon. I am alone now, truly alone, and absolutely isolated from any known life. I am it. If a count were taken, the score would be 3 billion plus 2 over on the other side of the moon, and 1 plus God only knows what on this side. I feel this powerfully, not as fear or loneliness, but as awareness, anticipation, satisfaction, confidence, almost exaltation.
The whole of that multi-award-winning podcast series is still available at bbcworldservice.com. Do download it if you haven't yet. And past Science in Actions are there too, forever, should you ever want to listen again. But for now, from me, Roland Pease, and producer
You're tuned to the Pacific service of Radio New Zealand International. We'll be off the air now for about 30 seconds for an aerial change. When we come back, we'll be beaming our signal to listeners in Australia, Bougainville, the Solomon Islands, and Timor. Please stay tuned.
RNZ News at 9. Kia ora, kōsu Samalaya Tahoa tēnei. The Prime Minister says it's hugely disappointing the National Party has politicised a report that sets out how co-governance between the Crown and Māori can be achieved by 2040. He Puapua, a report commissioned by the government in 2019, suggests a separate parliament and justice systems for Māori.